Welcome to today's Catholic Daily Readings from Christus Dominus Bread of Life. A reading from the book of Exodus. And Moses and Aaron did all the wonders that are written in the sight of Pharaoh. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, neither did he release the sons of Israel from his land. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, This month will be, for you, the beginning of the months. It will be the first in the months of the year. Speak to the entire assembly of the sons of Israel, and say to them, On the 10th day of this month, let everyone take a lamb by their families and houses. But if the number is less than may suffice to be able to consume the lamb, he shall accept his neighbor, who has been joined with his house according to the number of souls that may suffice to be able to eat the lamb. And it shall be a lamb without blemish, a male of 1 year, according to which rite you shall also take a young goat. And you shall keep it until the 14th day of this month, and the entire multitude of the sons of Israel shall immolate it in the evening. And they shall take from its blood, and place it upon both the doorposts and the upper threshold of the houses, in which they will consume it. And that night they shall eat the flesh, roasted by fire, and unleavened bread with wild lettuce. You shall not consume anything from it raw, nor boiled in water, but only roasted by fire. You shall devour the head with its feet and entrails, neither shall there remain anything from it until morning. If anything will have remained, you shall burn it with fire. But you shall consume it in this way. You shall gird your waist, and you shall have shoes on your feet, holding staves in your hands, and you shall consume it in haste. For it is the Passover, that is, the passing of the Lord. And I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will strike every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from man even to beast. And I will execute judgments against all the gods of Egypt. I am the Lord, but the blood will be for you like a sign upon the houses where you will be. And I will see the blood, and I will pass over you. And the plague will not be with you to destroy, when I strike the land of Egypt. This day will be a memorial for you, and you will keep it as a feast for the Lord in your generations, as an everlasting devotion.
I will take the cup of salvation and call on the name of the Lord. How shall I make a return to the Lord for all the good He has done for me? The cup of salvation I will take up, and I will call upon the name of the Lord. I will take the cup of salvation and call on the name of the precious in the eyes of the Lord is the death of His faithful ones. I am your servant, the son of your handmaid. You have loosed my I will take the cup of salvation and call on sacrifice of thanksgiving, and I will call upon the name of the Lord. My vows to the Lord I will pay in the presence of all his people. I will take the cup of salvation and call on the name of the
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus went out through the ripe grain on the Sabbath, and his disciples, being hungry, began to separate the grain and to eat. Then the Pharisees, seeing this, said to him, "Behold, your disciples are doing what is not lawful to do on the Sabbaths." But he said to them, "Have you not read what David did when he was hungry, and those who were with him? How he entered the house of God and ate the bread of the presence, which was not lawful for him to eat, nor for those who were with him, but only for the priests. Or have you not read in the law that, on the Sabbaths, the priests in the temple violate the Sabbath, and they are without guilt? But I say to you that something greater than the temple is here. And if you knew what this means, 'I desire mercy and not sacrifice,' you would never have condemned the innocent. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath." Join us for today's reflection. God is giving Moses the most detailed instructions imaginable. The Passover lamb must be 1 year old without defect. It must be selected on the 10th day, killed on the 14th day at twilight. The blood must be applied to the doorposts and lintel. The meat must be roasted, not boiled. It must be eaten with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. Nothing can be left until morning. Every detail matters because this is life or death. Follow the instructions precisely, and your firstborn lives. Miss something, and death passes through your house. Fast forward over a millennium. Jesus and his disciples are walking through a wheat field on the Sabbath. They're hungry, so they pick some grain and eat it. The Pharisees immediately pounce. "Your disciples are breaking the Sabbath law." These are the same people who have turned the simple Sabbath command into 39 categories of forbidden work with hundreds of subcategories. They know exactly how many steps you can take, what constitutes carrying a burden, and whether picking grain counts as harvesting. But Jesus responds with something that changes everything. The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. Here's what's happening. The same God who gave Moses those precise Passover instructions is now standing in a wheat field saying that the purpose of law matters more than the letter of law. This isn't God contradicting himself. This is God revealing what law was always supposed to accomplish. The Passover wasn't about creating religious burden, it was about providing divine protection. Every detail mattered because God was establishing a way to save his people from slavery and death. The law served love. But by Jesus' time, the religious leaders had reversed the relationship. Instead of law serving love, they made love serve law. Instead of rules protecting people, they made people serve rules. Jesus doesn't abolish the law, he fulfills it by restoring its original purpose. He shows us what God always intended, that religious observance should lead to human flourishing, not human restriction. When the disciples pick grain because they're hungry, they're not disrespecting God. They're trusting that God cares more about their need than their rule-following perfection. This represents the massive shift from Old Testament to New Testament thinking. In the Old Covenant, precise obedience to external commands kept you in relationship with God. In the New Covenant, relationship with God leads to loving obedience that sometimes looks different than external rule-following. The Pharisees were still living in Passover mode, believing that getting every detail right was what kept you safe with God. Jesus introduces them to a new reality. God Himself has come to be with you, and He cares more about your heart than your performance. This is why Jesus can say, "I desire mercy, not sacrifice." It's not that sacrifice was wrong. Sacrifice served its purpose of pointing people toward God's heart. But when sacrifice becomes more important than the heart it was meant to reveal, it's lost its way. We do the same thing today. We take good spiritual disciplines, church attendance, Bible reading, prayer, tithing, and turn them into religious performance metrics instead of pathways to relationship with God. We create modern Pharisee rules. Real Christians go to church every Sunday. Real Christians have quiet time every morning. Real Christians don't drink, don't swear, don't watch certain movies. Meanwhile, Jesus is standing in our wheat fields saying, "I'm more interested in whether you're becoming more loving than whether you're checking all the religious boxes." The shift from law to love doesn't mean anything goes. It means everything flows from relationship rather than regulation. When you know God loves you unconditionally, you want to love Him back. When you experience His mercy, you want to show mercy to others. The Passover lamb died so the firstborn could live. Jesus, the ultimate Passover lamb, died so we could live in freedom from the burden of earning God's approval through perfect rule following. This freedom isn't permission to ignore God's heart. It's permission to follow God's heart without being paralyzed by religious perfectionism. Your spiritual life isn't about getting every detail right like the Passover instructions. It's about staying connected to the one who got every detail right for you. When the Pharisees see rule breaking, Jesus sees hungry people being fed. When religious people see imperfection, God sees relationship being lived out in real-world circumstances. The law was never the destination. It was the roadmap pointing toward the relationship that Jesus makes possible. Now that Jesus is here, the roadmap has served its purpose. We follow Him not because we have to, but because we get to.